Could it be that your blood test for magnesium appears perfectly normal, yet your system is still silently deteriorating from a severe lack of this vital mineral? This is a costly diagnostic blind spot, catching nearly half the population off guard. When people struggle with sleeplessness, they often immediately attribute it to stress, the process of aging, or simply needing a sedative. Doctors reach for prescriptions, online sources suggest melatonin, and friends recommend alcohol for relaxation. Yet there is a fundamental truth few people ever reveal. Magnesium deficiency isn't merely the root of insomnia. It is quietly compromising over 300 essential bodily processes. To make matters worse, most individuals are consuming the incorrect form of magnesium at suboptimal times, often turning an expensive supplement into little more than a powerful diuretic. I'm about to unveil 8 critical facts about magnesium that have the potential to completely transform your health and your quality of sleep. The experience of my seemingly healthy friend, which I'll share at the very beginning, will challenge every assumption you currently hold. My neighbor, a highly active 52-year-old who habitually jogged 2 miles each morning, suddenly collapsed during a hike in Yosemite. He vividly described a feeling of his chest being intensely squeezed, leaving him unable to draw a breath. Fortunately, a nurse was part of his hiking party. She immediately recognized the signs of a cardiac event and had aspirin ready in her pack. This swift action is why he's alive today, but it's a terrifying truth that only about 10% of people who suffer a heart attack outside of a hospital are this lucky. What truly astounded me was that he had done everything right: regular, vigorous exercise, a clean diet, and no smoking. But no one, and I mean no one, had informed him that his strenuous daily gym routine was depleting his body's magnesium reserves at an alarming rate. His heart was forced to strain constantly just to manage this critical shortfall. You might unknowingly be facing the exact same danger. This incident immediately brought back memories of my own past struggles. During medical school, I was on the soccer field about to make a powerful kick when my entire calf muscle seized up in a blindingly painful cramp. The agony was so severe I could barely drive home, and it took a full week to fully recover. Surprisingly, not one professor or attending physician during my training ever mentioned the word magnesium. Years later, after the birth of our first child, my wife and I were completely drained. Juggling full time work and caring for a newborn meant I was constantly exhausted. My focus was shot. I'd put my keys in the refrigerator or my phone in the microwave. I attributed this foggy state to lack of sleep, but everything improved dramatically once I started supplementing with magnesium. That experience served as a clear indicator that my body was starved for the mineral. So, the question remains, if blood work comes back normal, how can you identify a magnesium shortage? This is the diagnostic pitfall that many healthcare professionals unfortunately overlook. The standard serum magnesium examination performed at your doctor's office only accounts for a mere 1% of the total magnesium within your system. It's akin to checking only your checking account balance without considering the total amount you owe on all your credit cards. Your body is incredibly adaptive. When blood levels drop, it promptly extracts magnesium from your bones to maintain plasma stability. Your skeletal structure essentially becomes an involuntary retirement fund, gradually being drawn down without your awareness. By the time you reach older age, you discover your bones are porous like a honeycomb, prone to breaking from a minor stumble. This is the insidious route toward osteoporosis that remains largely undiscussed. Yet, that is merely the beginning of a cascade of health issues. Insufficient magnesium is a direct contributor to metabolic syndrome, which presents as an expanding midsection, elevated blood sugar, and skyrocketing blood pressure. From this point, the development of type 2 diabetes is only a matter of time as your body loses the ability to properly metabolize glucose. The most alarming revelation is for non dippers, those whose blood pressure fails to decrease during nighttime sleep as it normally should. Their risk of having a morning stroke is 3 times higher than others. Magnesium is essential for allowing blood pressure to properly dip while you rest. The renowned Cardia study, which began in 1985 and tracked 5,000 young individuals from age 18 to 30 for 3 decades, yielded astonishing findings for researchers. Participants who consistently received adequate magnesium through their diet not only reported deeper, more restorative sleep, but also demonstrated a significantly lower risk of cardiovascular disease later in life. After 30 years of meticulous observation, the figures speak for themselves. So, what exactly is magnesium doing during those 8 crucial hours you dedicate to sleeping every night? The key to the profound, natural sleep that medication can never replicate lies in this process. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical processes, but its most important role is controlling the GABA system and melatonin production in your brain. Think of GABA as your brain's primary power down mechanism. When your magnesium levels are adequate, this switch operates seamlessly. Your brain gradually dims its activity and effortlessly transitions you into a state of slumber. Conversely, when magnesium is scarce, the switch jams. Your mind remains intensely active, lit up like Times Square late at night. You lie down, your eyes closed, but your thoughts are racing uncontrollably. The harder you try to fall asleep, the more wakeful you become. Checking the clock only heightens your anxiety. This is why a sleep deprived state causes you to perpetually view the situation negatively. Your brain is trapped in a damaging mental loop it cannot escape. However, sufficient magnesium completely alters this dynamic. You enter a deep, natural sleep within minutes, not the hazy, forced kind induced by drugs. The following morning, you wake up truly revitalized with a sharp mind, no longer dependent on multiple cups of coffee just to function. A single night of quality magnesium supported sleep can achieve more for your body than a week of perfectly adhering to a diet or taking every available vitamin. A good night's rest can reset your entire day, and magnesium holds the crucial role. Before we move on, I'm genuinely curious where you are viewing this information from right now. Please share your city or country name below so I can acknowledge you. Now, let's address a genuinely alarming reality. The issue of magnesium depletion isn't solely confined to internal bodily factors. A staggering 75% of the staple foods we eat every day are actively contributing to the loss of this mineral. The truth about the green in your burger should be shocking. Iceberg lettuce, which fast food companies often rely on, provides virtually no magnesium. Contrast this with dinosaur kale, which contains 10 times that amount. But how often do people incorporate that into their daily meals? Seeds like pumpkin and chia are undisputed champions of magnesium content, yet let's be honest, when was the last time you ate them regularly? Black beans and adzuki beans are also incredibly rich sources, but many avoid them due to concerns over digestive issues. And with cruciferous vegetables like Brussels sprouts and broccoli, you are supposed to chop them up before cooking to maximize the release of their nutrients, a detail very few people know. Furthermore, 75% of the food consumed in America is ultra processed, a method that strips away up to 90% of the naturally occurring magnesium. The white bread you had this morning lost 85% of the magnesium from the original wheat grain. And that's not the whole story. The soil itself in 2024 is significantly poorer in magnesium than it was a century ago. Your grandparents could get the same magnesium from one bowl of greens in 1950 that you would need 3 bowls to get now. Add to this the demands of modern life, stress, environmental pollution, UV exposure, and even exercise, which all accelerate the rate at which our bodies consume magnesium. So, confronted with 10 distinct formulations, how do you decide which type of magnesium to select? The vital distinctions between these various forms are facts supplement manufacturers prefer to keep hidden. A 2013 study in magnesium research affirmed that each variant produces entirely different outcomes, and selecting the wrong one can nullify all your efforts. Magnesium oxide, which is the most affordable and saturates the market, has incredibly poor bioavailability and is primarily effective as a purgative. Essentially, you are purchasing an unnecessarily costly bowel aid. Magnesium citrate offers significantly superior absorption. Consider Brian Johnson, who invests $2 million annually in his well being. He consumes 200 milligrams of magnesium citrate every morning. However, there's an important caveat. He eats his last meal by noon and consumes nothing afterward. This is because citrate has the potential to induce loose bowel movements. If ingested in the evening, you risk spending the night rushing to the bathroom instead of peacefully sleeping. Magnesium malate, which is bound to malic acid, is an active component in the energy ATP creation cycle. This makes it excellent for morning consumption when you require energy, but it is entirely counterproductive in the evening when your goal is relaxation. In contrast, magnesium glycinate is the undisputed champion for enhancing sleep. It is easy on the digestive system, is the least likely to cause diarrhea, and critically, it facilitates natural brain calming. Magnesium L-threonate possesses the unique ability to penetrate the blood-brain barrier. Though researchers are enthusiastic about its capacity to support cognitive function, the actual elemental magnesium content in this form is quite low. Magnesium chloride, the preparation administered intravenously in clinical settings, is also absorbed effectively when taken orally. Magnesium sulfate, or Epsom salt, is commonly utilized for restorative muscle soaks following physical exertion. Magnesium taurate is combined with the amino acid taurine, which supports cardiovascular health and the GABA system, inducing a sense of tranquility. Finally, magnesium orotate is the most expensive variety, often preferred by professional athletes. Exercise caution, as elevated dosages of this form have been linked to liver inflammation. Research published in Nutrients in 2020 confirms that daily magnesium supplementation is completely safe for individuals with healthy kidneys. Nevertheless, if you have existing kidney dysfunction, magnesium can accumulate to potentially harmful concentrations. This underscores precisely why consulting with your physician before beginning any supplementation regimen is absolutely essential. If you have continued watching and find this information valuable, please type yes below. Your engagement informs me that this content is meaningful to you, and every single comment inspires me to keep sharing. But there are still unseen aggressors that are destroying magnesium right inside your living space. Take a look inside your medicine cabinet and your pantry right now. Items that seem innocuous are systematically depleting your magnesium levels every day without you realizing it. Let's begin with your medications. Diuretics, such as furosemide or hydrochlorothiazide, which are prescribed to millions for blood pressure control, cause a daily loss of magnesium through urination. Widely used antibiotics, including doxycycline, ciprofloxacin, and levofloxacin, chemically complex with magnesium, rendering both the medication and the mineral ineffective. And what about those over the counter antacids for your stomach? Your stomach requires acid to separate magnesium from the food you eat. Insufficient acid means the magnesium, even from the healthiest meal, simply travels through your intestines unabsorbed. The kitchen presents a different set of challenges. Aluminum free baking powder often contains harmful phosphate additives. These are prevalent in various baked goods, breads, and even pancake mixes. Processed meats are loaded with phosphate based preservatives. Soft drinks are saturated with inorganic phosphates, and fast food contains a multitude of phosphate additives. All these compounds fiercely bind with magnesium, converting it into a chemical structure that the body cannot utilize. Daily dietary habits also introduce issues. Consuming milk alongside a meal, while seemingly nutritious, introduces calcium that directly competes with magnesium for absorption sites in the gut. Following diets like keto or carnivore, which are high in fat, can be problematic because the fat interacts with magnesium to form a type of soap, completely preventing its assimilation. And if you indulge in an alcoholic beverage to unwind each night, your kidneys are prompted to expel magnesium at twice the normal pace. Ironically, even foods considered supremely healthy can pose an issue. The phytates and oxalates present in whole grains and dark leafy greens bind with magnesium, diminishing absorption. The simple corrective action is to soak seeds and beans overnight, but this essential knowledge is not widely shared. The net effect is that you might be taking blood pressure medication that encourages magnesium leakage, only to drink a soda with lunch that immediately neutralizes your salad's magnesium content. The lack of awareness regarding this interconnection is staggering. Now, let's discuss the so called solutions that are actively deteriorating your brain health. The difference between a simple sleeping pill and a long term neurological toxin is frighteningly small. Many people mistakenly consider alcohol a natural aid for sleep. In reality, alcohol fundamentally disrupts your sleep structure. It suppresses the crucial REM sleep phase during the first half of the night. the stage where your brain processes emotions and solidifies memories, and then creates a rebound effect that causes frequent awakenings later on. Chronic alcohol consumption carries a high risk of Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, a form of permanent amnesia caused by alcohol-induced vitamin depletion. Over-the-counter sleep aids, such as diphenhydramine and Benadryl, are no safer. Recent studies have demonstrated clear correlations between their use and reduced cognitive function, alongside an increased potential for dementia. Prescription hypnotics like benzodiazepines, Ambien, or Lunesta are notorious for impairing memory and causing debilitating grogginess the entire following day, a complete opposite to the clarity of natural sleep supported by magnesium. However, the most profound risk is often undiagnosed sleep apnea. Repeated periods of oxygen starvation throughout the night are particularly damaging to the hippocampus, the brain's primary memory center. While a CPAP machine may feel awkward initially, it is an essential defense, protecting your brain from the hundreds of micro awakenings each night that you don't even recall. Each night you rely on the wrong solution, you inflict irreversible harm on your cognitive health. Magnesium is not a magic cure, but it provides the safest and most reliable foundation for achieving natural rest. So, who is the ideal candidate for supplementation, and what is the best way to begin? This targeted checklist will help you determine your need. First, remember that the recommended dietary allowance, RDA figures, represent the bare minimum under ideal conditions, not the reality of a life filled with chronic stress, pollution, and regular physical activity. Certain demographics require enhanced attention. Individuals with inflammatory bowel diseases such as Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, or IBD who experience chronic diarrhea are continually losing magnesium through their waste. Celiac disease causes damage to the intestinal lining, severely hindering absorption capabilities. Those who have undergone abdominal radiation for cancer treatment may have lasting damage to their intestinal function. Concerning endocrine issues, diabetics with accompanying kidney problems excrete far more magnesium through their urine than the average person. Conditions like parathyroid disorders or primary aldosteronism result in systemic mineral imbalances. Women who are breastfeeding for extended periods lose significant amounts of magnesium via breast milk. And simply put, the older you become, the less efficiently your body absorbs and retains this mineral. For a practical protocol, always start with a modest dose and only increase it gradually, carefully observing your body's response. It is crucial to consult your physician to establish the correct and safe dosage for your specific health profile. Timing is paramount. Take it approximately 2 hours before you intend to sleep, either on an empty stomach or with a very light snack. Explicitly avoid consuming it concurrently with calcium supplements, milk, or soda, as these impede its absorption. In addition to supplementation, actively increase your intake of magnesium rich foods. Try soaking pumpkin seeds overnight for a healthy afternoon snack. Incorporate black beans or adzuki beans into your salads. Choose nutrient dense dark leafy greens such as spinach or kale over the comparatively useless iceberg lettuce, and always chop cruciferous vegetables before cooking to ensure maximum nutrient release. Improvements are typically noted within several weeks to a few months, depending on the severity and duration of your personal deficiency. Do not anticipate an overnight miracle. However, consistent adherence will undoubtedly yield significant results. Your body needs time to repair years of depletion. Magnesium is far more than just a sleep mineral. It is the critical foundation for over 300 biochemical processes throughout the body. From the regularity of your heartbeat to the consolidation of your memories, from energy generation to mood stability, everything hinges on this unassuming mineral that is deficient in half the population. I am certain that countless people are needlessly suffering from chronic fatigue, insomnia, and muscle cramps simply due to a lack of awareness about magnesium. Access to the correct knowledge can completely revolutionize your health trajectory. If this information could benefit someone you care about, please share this video with them. Hitting the like button ensures more individuals find this important message, and subscribing with notifications activated guarantees you won't miss any of our future health insights. Make sure to discuss magnesium with your healthcare provider, especially if you have kidney issues or are on prescription drugs. Start your informed magnesium journey tonight. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.